Hi there, my name is Azad Ahmed. I'm a professor at Conestoga College in Kitchener, Canada. And this term, I've been teaching project management. The project management course is based on the PMP guidelines for PMBOK based on the 6th edition. And today I have with me one of my students, Surnil Sehgal, who has been a very diligent and hardworking student in the course. He has attained really good marks in the course and of course the other program. And he has recently graduated from the Advanced Energy program at Conestoga College. So he has not stopped there. He has been very diligent in pursuing further certifications, and he has taken the CAPM, the Certified Associate of Project Management from PMI Institute, and he has passed that exam. So I wanted to congratulate him, and also I wanted to appreciate him for his efforts. And also we would like to take some time to go through the course contents and what you can expect if you're planning to undertake this also in the future. Thank you, Surnil, for being with us today. Thanks a lot. Yes, thank you. And so just to give a brief overview that for PMP, project management, and also for the CAPM, this is a framework which is used by PMI. And in this framework, you need to understand that there are these process groups. There are 5 process groups. If you're doing a project, you need to initiate it, plan, execute, and during execution, you have to monitor and control, and then you close the project. And there are 10 knowledge areas. I know it starts with 4, but there's actually 10 knowledge areas. And of those, there's integration, scope. Scope is what work you have to do, schedule based on the time, managing the time of the project and activities, then cost to ensure that your project doesn't go over the budget, quality to ensure the project meets the customer needs, resources is managing the team, communications is how you will communicate those concepts to the stakeholders about the project, whether it's on target or there's any risks. And then risk is anything that can go wrong in the project. And then procurement is obtaining anything from outside of the company, material or consultants or other procurement, how to manage those. And then stakeholder management is anybody who will be affected by the project. So these are all the different process activities that you need to do in these process groups and this knowledge area. So to be a proper project manager, you need to know about all those things and you need to understand the process groups and manage them properly. So for the PMP examination, Surnil could not take that directly because he did not have the experience requirement. There's an experience requirement for the PMP. However, for the CAPM, because he has done the course at Conestoga College and because of his understanding about these concepts, he did study. So we would like to share his experience with the CAPM. I'm going to share here, this is the CAPM exam content outline, the learning objectives. And we will go through each of those sections with reference to what you should be preparing and planning for if you plan to take the CAPM exam. So first of all is Introduction to Project Management. Yes, so Surnil, do you want to tell us what type of things are important to focus on in that area?
In this area, sir, you have to understand what are the project programs and portfolio, meaning what are the life cycles of project and how the process groups of the project, what are the process group of the projects are. So
Right.
what is tailoring, what tailoring is, and tailoring is just how will you manipulate the project by going through it and just make it in a direction to knit it in the direction that it goes into the what the stakeholders are expecting. That's what you need to know in introduction. So
Right.
this is the base. First, if you know the introduction, then you can move on step by step to the others.
Right. Yes, just like the framework I showed you that showed the process groups.
Yes, sir.
And then you understand that a program or a portfolio is where you have different projects together in a program. You would have related projects. In portfolio, you have unrelated projects. So you should understand that and the life cycle also
yes,
those, like we said, initiating, planning, executing, right? So
yes,
yes, good,
yes.
good. Under project environment, yes, can you tell us what is important to focus on in that area?
So in the environment, there are two things. First, the enterprise environmental factors and the organization process assets that you need to understand. The process assets are what you get from uh, the previous experiences of the company, and the environmental factors are what are the environmental factors surrounding the project, what can affect it, what are the risks. That this is the point of initiation, that you will see how far we can go and what we can expect from the project and what the problems is. So from the environmental factor, you will learn about what are the environmental factors affecting the project. That's to basically to know about the project, and the
Right.
hierarchy of programs and portfolio that you know in the first part, but it is the extension of this that's given in this step.
Right, good point. Yes, no, definitely that's very important. And like you mentioned, the OPAs, that is the organizational process assets, or for example, what software, what different techniques are you using in order to
That's right.
manage the project. So that is your project environment.
Yes.
Good, thank you. Role of the project manager.
These explain the duties of the project manager, how's how to motivate, how to be in leadership, what qualities you need to have, uh, what the management abilities, leadership abilities, and technical abilities. That's called the PMI triangle. And what is the sphere of influence? How much the project manager can influence others? How much control does it have? It depends upon various project to project. So this chapter explains you what the role of project manager is and how far it goes in terms of powers and influence.
Right, and then there's the PMI triangle is very
Yes, sir.
important also, right?
Yes, sir.
Uh, Leadership and technical aspect, strategic
Technical aspect
understanding.
and management aspect.
Right, yes, perfect, good. Under integration, what are important points?
In integration, that for the starting of the project is, and you have to understand what the input outputs and tools and techniques of the project are. So you need to remember these by heart. These are the basic things, because input output tools and techniques, that that's what they will give you the power to understand what integration is, because tools and techniques are further explained, and they have more terms that are not explainable in this short time, but this will explain you the whole project. Just remember the input output technique. Input
Yes.
ITTOs are the best things for the understanding of this
Right. Yes. Yes. Integration is basically bringing everything together, and
together. Yes,
in there you have to understand the inputs mainly are like the OPAs and the EPA. Those are the main like inputs. And if you're making a project charter, you need, for example, business case. You need to have, so those are the inputs for that, and then the tools mainly using meetings and using expert judgment, using other data analysis. Those are the tools and techniques, and then the output is as a result of that. What do you get? You may get a project charter. You may get a WPS. You
yes,
may get a
WBS.
scope
Yes,
statement or scope baseline. So those are your outputs. Oh, yes,
yes.
good. Thank you. Yes, what is scope statement? What is scope management? Sorry.
In the scope management, you just create a business case. Like the business case is the basic. How much path the project can go. So you break down the structure of the work. So
What work needs
WBS,
to be done? Yes.
what needs to be done is you just need to break the project what you want to do in just simple parts in the available work, like
Yes, and it's
uh,
not too much detail. Its only main
improvement.
purpose
Yeah,
is to allocate it to some.
yes, sir. Break down the project and allocate the resources to it so that
Yes,
the project can move on.
that's right. And then you want to mention about agile also. Agile, what is the
the
meaning of that?
the projects, some projects are adaptive, some projects are agile. So agile is you have predefined scope. Some In some project you don't have predefined scope. You go by iterations. You go by just 1 2 steps. We will experiment it, and where what farther we can go. So these projects are adaptive projects. There are
Right.
also adaptive. There are also predictive
Example is
projects.
like development of a app or a development of a website.
Yes,
Usually
sir.
IT projects, you get continuous feedback from the
Yes,
customer
sir.
and then you go ahead and then you make make the item, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great, thank you. Schedule management.
Yes. So in schedule management, you just have to understand how will you schedule the project, how the activities are linked together, because how much time they have in between them, how much you can delay them, how much you can delay one activity and start the other one. That's called the float and the Gantt chart. What tools and techniques? These are tools and techniques. The network diagrams. The critical
Yes.
paths are important in this because
Yes.
that's the length of the project, how much it can go. So
Yes,
these,
because we have a list of activities and we're not sure. A lot of them may be doing parallel, other have to be done after the other.
yes, sir.
So it's hard to understand how long will the project take until you make an activity network
Yes,
diagram.
sir. Yes, sir. You can also add on the crashing of you can crash the activities.
Yes,
You
add
can
more
add
people.
resources or
Yes,
add more. You can do something in parallel. So that's a thing to remember.
yes, good, thank you. Cost management.
In cost management, you you have a lot of formulas in this. It is the understanding part, like how the project is going. So in this, you just remember the tools and techniques. First, the basic tools and techniques. Then you have to understand the formulas, like how they are working,
Right.
the cost variance, the planned value, the earned value, everything
Yes.
you have to, the estimated time left in the project. What you have to remember in this, and you have to
Yes.
understand this.
With earned value, we calculate, it looks at all three things. We look at the time, the scope, and the cost of the
And the
whole
cost.
project. So
Yes,
with
sir.
that, we can see, are we on target with our time? Are we on
Yes,
target with our cost? How much
yes, sir.
work have we done?
Yes,
And
sir.
if we continue to work in this pace, where will we be at the end? Are we going to go over the budget, or are we going to be under budget? Are we going to be late? So this is the purpose of doing these earned value calculation.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, good.
Okay.
Thank you. And then project quality management.
So in quality management, so it will tell you the tools and techniques to how to manage the quality of the project, how to execute it in that direction so that you can
Right.
manage quality. So uh, in this, it has some important terms, but if you just remember the tools and techniques, that are enough for this because they don't ask you in this detail, and you can also there were not any questions in continuous improvement, uh,
So it's
but you can
basically there
have some
you do the planning and then you
yeah.
conduct and then you control
Yes,
quality,
sir.
right? Those
Yes,
three
sir. Yes,
main, those things you need to know, right?
yes, sir.
Yes, good, great. And then resource management.
In resource management, you understand how to manage the people, how to manage your resources, how to manage money, time that is available to you, and you will
Yes.
tailor
And
the.
conflict is normal. Anywhere you have people together, there'll be some conflict.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
how to manage that, right, is very
yes,
important.
sir. That there are some techniques to manage conflict, like soothing,
Yes.
that you have
Avoiding, smoothing,
avoiding, smoothing.
avoiding, yes, those
Yes,
things,
sir.
yeah.
You have
Right.
to resolve the conflict in between them. That's
Good.
important.
Communication.
In communication, you understand how to communicate with the uh, major stakeholders because that are the uh, basis of the project, and you have to create a plan for their communication and how their engagement is. You have to plot their engagement and how much they want to be engaged. They want to lead or what they want. But the communication and stakeholder management are attached.
Yes,
That
that's
this
right.
is uh, communication management is just the understanding of how will you manage the communication, but it is the basic of it
Right.
is the stakeholder management.
Some of
How they
your
will,
stakeholders are internal, some are external.
some are
Sometimes your
external.
project may be affecting the community.
Yes, sir.
If it is affecting community, then you have to communicate with them in a clear manner about what is happening if you're laying down a road or doing something like that.
Yes, sir.
If it's an internal one, then you have to keep your internal stakeholders satisfied, anybody who will be affected by it, right? So how you will communicate with them is with whether it is through email or you have a dashboard or you're going to have conference calls or how you will communicate with them.
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Yes.
and what information and how much everything, yes. And then risk management.
So risk management, there is how to manage the project risk, like there is a risk, how much the project risk is, what's the probability of the risk and what the cost of it. This will be the question
Right,
that
you have
will
to make a
be
risk
guaranteed to you.
register which lists
Yes,
all the risks. If this happens, what will you do?
what will you
What is
do?
your
Yes,
plan, and then how you'll manage it and everything. Yes,
yes,
so
sir.
you
Yes, sir.
plan ahead, you have it already.
Yes, sir.
Some things are known, some are unknown risks.
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Yes. Okay.
good. Procurement.
So this is the least part that comes in the CAPM exam, but the procurement, you just need to know what procurement is. Like, how will you manage the external resources if you are doing some type of contract with them? So there are different types of contracts. If you are choosing any third party from other than your project internal resources, then what type of contract you are being in with them? There are there will be questions that are scenario based in this, like uh, if there is a contract with a company and it should be hour based or it should be a fixed pay based. So these you need to understand, like how will you take the
Right. Yes. Good. Yeah, exactly.
contract
Types
of
of
them.
contracts
So
is very
that's
important
also
there.
important.
And again, for each of them, you need to
Yes,
know the ITOs for all of them for those processes, right?
yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And then last but not least, the stakeholder management.
Stakeholder management. Yeah, this is the basic, that how will you manage stakeholder? How will you identify them? How will you influence them? That because uh, if something goes wrong, then it all comes upon these stakeholders, and you have to keep them informed and keep them have you have
Yes.
to be communicated with them every time. So
Yes.
what they want from you, and so you have to
Hmm.
make the stakeholder register and just type in what they want, and you can
Right.
go with it. That's all you need to know. I think if
Right.
you will read the book, just read the book,
So
just
so
go
you
through it.
use mainly which book? The
Same book,
PMP book you were
same.
saying?
Yes, sir. PMI,
Yes,
same
PMI,
book,
PMP book, sixth edition. So that
sixth
was all
edition.
that's much more higher level than needed for the CAPM, but it's good since we have that in our course.
Yes,
So you went through that in detail,
yes.
right?
I went through that, and it was uh, if you have done the course, uh, if you have done from the course, Mr. Jawad Ahmed, then it would be better. We have done everything in class, but you just need to uh, go through the pen book. If you just go
Yes.
through it once, and you don't even need to remember everything, just read through
Yes.
it, and you
Yes.
will understand everything. It's a
Right.
simple language, and
Yes.
you will clear the exam.
Right. Good. No, thank you. I'm glad, you're, I have a lot of other students also, and I'm glad that you have taken this initiative to pass the CAPM. And I wish you all the best in your career. I'm sure you will be a great asset for any organization you go to. And I wish you best of luck in getting a suitable position here in Canada in a suitable company for project management. So wish you all the best. Anything else you want to share with everybody about this course or any other topic?
Uh, Also, thank you. Thank you, sir, for your guidance. It was a great experience being taught by you, and we had a more practical implications of the project management in the class, because the activities that you have
Yes.
given us, that were more of the implication, and we understood that how will we manage the project in practical life, because in the books it's
Yes.
different and practical it's different.
Right. Yeah, this
So
is a tech, it's not just knowledge, it's a lot of practical things. You have
lot
to
of practical
know
things.
how to make all those different charts and graphs and calculations, and then making those, all those different activity network diagrams. So it's a practical thing when you're working in the project management also. It is a management role, but it's very technical with a lot of tools and techniques. You need to be good in computers also, in IT, and understanding how to use all these tools and techniques also. So I'm glad you
Yeah,
are mastering it. Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank you. Thank you
again.
very
Yeah.
much. Have a nice day. Thank you.